first off, Sunday. Hey, Teresa's had a few requests for how I do fried rice, so I thought we'd do a quick video. This is something, I'll warn you in advance, this is something that I have been doing for close to 50 years, and when I cook, when I try a new recipe, I will measure it out exactly, but then after that, I will just kind of throw stuff in there, and, you know, to see what feels right. That's the way it is with the fried rice. I learned how to do this when I was a kid, and I do more and more of it. Or over the years, I've kind of polished it up. So first off, start with some sort of meat. What, sweetie? Starting out with some sort of meat. I've cooked some breakfast sausage. This is the roll type, and isn't it Tennessee Pride or something like that?
Whatever.
Yeah, and this is half a roll, so you're looking at about half a pound of sausage. And I browned it up. One of the things we really like about this sausage, and actually this will make, when I do it, this will probably make about 6 servings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when I do this, I don't drain the grease, because after you fry up half a pound, there's hardly any grease whatsoever. So sausage is brown, and then you can also use, rather than just sausage, I've made it with ham. We've made it with shrimp, and we made it with chicken, and pork. Yep. So pretty much whatever kind of meat you guys like.
Or if you're a vegetarian, you could.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So to the meat, when the skillet's hot, I add some stir-fry veggies. I don't know if you can see that, and it's going to be backwards. Yeah. But I add stir-fry veggies. There's about a half a bag here.
Which is not that much. But
so that'll work. Well, this is what we did last time.
Yeah.
You know, so add a half a bag of stir-fry veggies. And, you know, they're already pre-cooked. Just let them kind of thaw out and everything. And then one of the things I was struggling when Teresa...
What do you have your electric skillet to,
I have it to 250. See, and you said you weren't going to talk.
Well,
I know.
The last 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Did you put any seasoning in yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I got all the seasonings behind me and ready to go. But we'll get the veggies, get those all cooked up. You know, you can use a bag of stir-fry veggies. I like to use, I've always been a huge fan of water chestnuts and bamboo shoots. Mm-hmm. You can add those in. And then, of course, and then, of course, what Oriental dish would be complete without the little tiny baby corn? And I always think of that scene in Big with Tom Hanks when he sees the little baby corns that are probably for Bloody Mary bar, and see him. Remember that? Yeah. When he's eating them like you would a full size.
Yeah, company Christmas party in Big, and he is
Yeah, and I love that scene. And one of the things too is I don't measure, so I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there at you guys. I'm trying to give a rough approximation of what I use. The spices I like to put in here, I put in onion powder, and I put in garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic if you choose, and I use powdered ginger, and I use paprika. We do have smoked paprika, and I've tried that once, and that was a little too weird for me.
Then you want to show me your soy sauce.
And then also...
We are picky about the soy sauce.
Also, soy sauce. Okay, on the spices, my best estimation is...
Some.
So, yeah. Usually I use about a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half to 3/4 teaspoon of ginger, and a half to 3/4 teaspoon of paprika. And you'll see,
pepper or anything?
Nope. And you'll see that here in a few minutes when I dump. And then I've got 3 cups of rice, which after the veggies are all...
Now, this rice is already cooked?
Rice is pre-cooked.
And it's not instant rice?
No. I have... I never had instant rice until Teresa and I went down to her parents'. I've always had the regular long grain, and the first time I had instant rice, that stuff was so friggin' nasty. I mean, it just, and another thing I never had until I met Teresa was real mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And she kind of spoiled me with that. I think I'm going to have to turn the heat up a little bit, turn it up to 300.
Fred loves to cook.
Mm-hmm.
He's a keeper. I'm not feeling real perky today because I think I have another infection, and so I'm having trouble sleeping, so I was sleeping today, and he vacuumed and did laundry. Did you mop?
I did mop.
And mop. Well, I didn't even ask him to.
And I did all the dishes.
And he did all the dishes, and I think he did stuff outside, too.
No.
Oh, you hung clothes, and then it rained.
Yeah, then it rained.
They got an extra rent.
Okay, and the veggies are coming along nicely. And I like to break the sausage up into smaller bits. I mean, the biggest ones are, there's a few bigger than the size of a pea, but I try to break them up so you get sausage in every bite. And you can also add mushrooms. Mushrooms are good.
You don't have to use an electric skillet with this recipe. It's just what is handy for us.
Yep.
And then you have the dachshund trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Right, Mama?
Whenever I'm cooking, she loves to hang out under my feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I cooked some rice earlier. And we do have a rice cooker, which is wonderful. I did wash my hands, by the way.
Yeah, we love our rice cooker.
Yeah.
We use it a lot.
But yeah, we got 3 cups of rice, and so I will break it down, because I cooked the rice this morning, and when you put the rice in here, it doesn't have to be hot.
I don't think I've ever watched you make the rice.
Don't you?
No, the fried rice, no. I've never made fried rice. You make such good fried rice. It's just like...
Yeah, that would be like me making lasagna. It just wouldn't fly.
Last time we went to the only Chinese restaurant here in Crawfordsville, their version of fried rice was just rice with soy sauce.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even good soy sauce.
No.
Like I said, we're kind of picky about soy sauce because I'm a big fan of like the brand, the store name products and stuff for the most part. But the soy sauce, like if you buy the Great Value, it is just salt.
Yep.
There's a big taste difference.
Yep, there is huge taste difference. Okay.
So why are you doing this?
I'm just trying to break up the chunks of rice.
Okay. Well, 'cause we just don't want to know.
Yeah, just breaking up the bigger chunks of rice.
Now, if they wanted to, could they add sesame seed oil?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they felt like they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never thought about that. That might be one worth a try. But one of the things...
Or peanut oil, I know they use a lot.
Yeah, one of the things is you can cook wonderful foods without spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, I remember watching one of the barbecue grill cook-off thingy wangers that they were doing, and this one guy was doing beef, and he bought about a 20-pound rib roast that was Wagyu beef. And after seeing the prices on that, I'll bet you that hunk of meat was probably $2,000.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly.
Okay. And like I said, I have a tendency to add a little bit more water than is called for, which makes the rice kind of sticky. So that's where you get the balls, the bigger balls. Okay. Bigger balls of rice. Okay. Garlic powder. Oh, excuse me, that was onion powder.
Okay.
And then garlic powder. And like I said, it's probably about a half a teaspoonful. And then I love ginger. This is something that Teresa and I had to get used to coming down to Florida, is that the powdered spices, you got to make sure and close the lid on tight, because with the humidity, they will clump together.
Yeah.
And then, oops, wrong way. And then paprika. And then there again, I will make sure this is stirred up real good, well mixed, and with that sausage I used, like I said, I didn't drain it, but you don't see any kind of standing oil in the pan, because there wasn't a whole lot of. You okay, sweetie?
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of grease in that sausage, which is one of the things I really, really like about it. Because some of the hamburger, I don't like to buy some of the hamburger and some of the sausage.
Like the 73.
Yeah, the 73% lean. When you cook that up, you got to drain a fourth of it away, because there's so much grease. Okay. So then the next thing I do is, we got Nix. Come on, Nixie. Next thing I do is 3 eggs. 1, 2, 3. Oh, got a shell.
Excuse me.
Okay, 3 eggs. And then stir that in really, really well.
Take Mom out here in a minute.
Okay.
Come on, look, baby. Look. Come on, look your butt.
And you can see the eggs cooking in. I assume that if you are vegan, that they make an egg substitute that you can use in this, and I am very admittedly an omnivore, so I like my meat. And it looks like that this is just about done. Okay. Yep, just about done. Okay, the egg is all cooked. The eggs are all cooked into it, and you can see little chunks of eggs floating around in there. Okay, and then the last thing I do is add, and it's probably,
It's to taste.
yeah, and it's probably about a 1/4 cup.
Hear that sizzle?
And then, again, you just stir it all in. You know, and we always eat this as a main dish.
Yeah.
But you can cook it, have it on a side, as a side. There's been a few times where I've done like teriyaki chicken on the grill with fried rice on the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And on something like that, I won't
Won't put any meat in it.
I won't put any meat in it, just the veggies and the
nice
eggs.
thing is this reheats, you know, whatever leftovers you have, it reheats really nicely.
Yep.
You know.
Okay, so that is Brad's fried rice.
That's Brad's fried rice, and we thank you guys for being patient with us, getting this done, and I hope you guys will try the recipe. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Say bye, Brad.
Bye, Brad.